Okay guys, welcome to the channel. So this is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I wanted to kind of share with you my complete journey, and I'm giving you a full self-improvement guide on how you can reset your life completely. So I'm assuming you clicked on this because you're not too happy with where you are in life, and you kind of look at maybe other people and their life may be a bit more desirable to what yours is currently. So I'm going to lay out, I think it's 5 or 6 step process which you can follow. And if you implement these, your life will change forever within the next 18 months to 2 years. So I've been on my journey for about 2 years, 2.5 years now, and my life has changed forever. As you can probably see by the picture, I think it's on the left hand side of your screen. And that was me about 2 years ago. One of my lowest points. I was drinking, partying, just doing a load of shit. I had no purpose, no why. I didn't really know what I was doing with my life at all. And yeah, I was very unhappy at this point. And that was a photo of me last week when I was just away. Obviously looking a lot better. Feeling a lot better inside, which is more important than the external reality. And yeah, I honestly feel now I've kind of reached a stage over the last 2-3 months where I feel happy in myself, and I've kind of feel I'm on the right path to get to where I want to be. I've got a long way to go, and I have some very big goals that I want to achieve. And I've only just started this channel, and I have a long way to go on this journey too. But my mission is to inspire and change the lives of people, especially people who've kind of been through a similar journey to me. However, they've kind of not found the answers yet. So I hope I can kind of share my knowledge and experience that I've had over the last couple of years to change your life and for you to reach your full potential and live a very fulfilling life, because I definitely don't think a lot of people are. And yeah, I feel very, very privileged to kind of found where I kind of want to be in life, and found the right influential people who can help guide me to where I want to be, and I want to be that person for you. So yeah, hopefully this guide will really help you, because that's what it's here for. And yeah, self-improvement is a very special journey, and I'm going to share with you my story, a basic summary. I could go into a lot more detail, but this is a basic summary of my journey, why I started it, and how it started. So I'm 22 years old. I just turned 22 a couple of weeks ago, and I've been on self-improvement for just under 2 years, I guess you could say, properly, I would say. So I want to say actually why I started more than how it started. Why I started, I was not happy at all with my life. I felt depressed. I didn't find fulfillment in anything I did. I was hopping from one idea to another idea, and it just never worked. The education system let me down significantly. I went to university for 2.5 years. I was in my final year and I dropped out. I knew this was not the path for me. I always kind of knew that deep down, I think. And this kind of led me to pursue kind of entrepreneurship and helping other people with the same lessons that I've been through and knowing their struggles. I feel I've experienced a lot of deep lessons and experiences at such a tender age, such as being 22. I won't bore you and go into detail of those, because this is about resetting your life. And if you want to hear more about them, just go check out my other videos, because I talk a lot more detail into them. But there's not a lot I kind of can't relate to you. If you've been through a lot of struggles, there's probably, I'm sure I'll be able to relate to you in some way, and that's the most important thing. I always want to be authentic and relatable to my audience. That's one of my kind of something I stand by, and hopefully you find me quite relatable and I'm being authentic. I'm not trying to put up a facade and be someone that I'm not, because that's just never been me. And whenever I've tried that, it's just always backfired. So anyway, we're going to go on to the first kind of stage, and this is the basics before we kind of even get onto your self-improvement journey. I want to make sure that you have these stuff sorted out before before you kind of pursue anything deeper, such as like making money, getting a body, talking to people. I'm sure you probably already have this sorted out, and I don't mean to be condescending or anything like that, but it's very important we get this stuff sorted out. And a lot of this stuff comes from developing your mental health, which I've made numerous videos on, so check them out. Honestly, I'm not trying to like just get you to check out all my videos, but I know your mental health is extremely important, and I really have been down in the depths of having poor mental health for large periods of my life, and I kind of have got out of that now. And it wasn't antidepressants or anything like this that people will try and tell you. It's not like that at all. So yeah, obviously go check those out, or we can have a conversation about that if that's something you're interested in. So the first thing I want you to sort out is have good hygiene. Very simple, and I'm sure, like I say, you've probably already got this sorted out easily. Have clean clothes, get yourself a regular haircut. 2 to 3 weeks I think is acceptable. It's not too expensive. I know some people go on about, oh, it's like 20-30. It's not. It's like £10-15 if you go to a local barber around your area. Anyone could do that. Just keep yourself maintained. It just makes such a difference. Well groomed. Make sure you're not looking scruffy like you just rolled out of bed or anything like that, because it really makes a big difference to how your self-image and how other people see you. Obviously they're not going to be very attracted and want to spend time with you or even talk to you if you look scruffy and dirty and anything like this. And the most important thing about hygiene is making sure you don't stink. And I'm sure you don't stink, but it is very important that you sort that out if you do, because I've met quite a few people who do smell quite bad, and I don't think they're actually aware of it. And honestly, if I ever smelt bad, I would love someone to tell me, because that is far more important than me having my ego getting the better of me and be like, oh no, I don't smell, or getting bothered. Just yes, I know a lot of people won't have the humility to kind of admit or come to terms with stuff like that, but it's very important to how you see yourself, which is very important, and how other people see you too, because first impressions are massive. And all these kind of things kind of relate to a book that I read, one of the first self-help books I kind of read, which was by Jordan Peterson. I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with him. Very interesting character, like him or hate him. I personally really like him. I would definitely recommend buying his book 12 Rules for Life, which is kind of just a starter to getting the basics, like getting your house in order, cleaning your room, sorting out your posture. Something like cleaning your room is something I really just didn't do it for years, and I never really saw it as a big problem. But the reason my room wasn't clean, the reason my car wasn't clean, the reason I didn't probably look that clean, I was never dirty, but just probably didn't look as good as I definitely could have done, was because my mental health wasn't good enough, and stuff like that felt like a chore to me. And I'd just be like, oh yeah, I'll do it another day, or it's not that important now, I've got other things to focus on. So I'm sure if you're really struggling with anything like this, it's because your mental health is not as good as it could be. And it's something that I just didn't really acknowledge that at the time, but I really realised that was important. That was the driving force to me not doing these type of things. Making sure you have good posture is very important, and it's something that I've really focused in on over the last few months. I'm making sure I'm standing up straight with my shoulders back, as Jordan Peterson says in chapter 1 of 12 Rules for Life. It boosts your serotonin and it makes you feel higher in the hierarchy system, which is very important of kind of how you feel, how you present yourself, kind of shows how you kind of feel in that overall hierarchy system of life. So if you're quite slumped back and your posture's quite shit, and obviously that's not good for you anyway, because you want to be looking good, and it can actually make you boost your height if you're a bit insecure about something like that. But it says a lot about how you kind of see yourself. And if you like walking, you should walk so your chest is like fully out and your shoulders are like so back. That's really noticeable for you, but it probably won't be for everyone else. But you'll notice it, and if it's like that, then that means you like kind of see yourself. You're really proud of the person you are. And it felt a bit uncomfortable doing this at the first, but It's something that I definitely recommend. It's something small and you might not take any notice of it, but I definitely recommend you just doing it, even if it feels uncomfortable the first few times you do it. It's just basic stuff like that I kind of want to drill into you. So these are my like basic kind of tips I have before you start your journey, because you got to get your house in order. And like I say, I probably should have made a section where I talked about having good mental health, because I think that's overall the message that I want to get across to you before you start your journey, is to improve your mental health. And obviously it will improve naturally as you progress on your journey. But I think you should definitely focus on that before you focus on like the other things, like the good habits, such as like going to the gym and eating clean. Like, sort your mental health out first. I think that's just so important that a lot of people will ignore this because it's not a sexy answer, and a lot of people don't kind of realize the importance of it. But coming from someone who has had really good bad mental health and now feeling like I have really good mental health, the difference it's kind of made to my overall life, my overall mindset, my productivity, the way I socialize with people, my relationships, how I see myself, anything like that has been life changing. And honestly can't underestimate the importance of it. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be talking to you on this channel. So as you can see, this was me at my stage 1. I've put a picture for kind of all the different stages because I kind of wanted to show you my journey and how you might be able to relate to it, or how you could kind of progress. I really hope you can do this journey a lot better than me, and I think you will be able to with the steps I've kind of laid out to you. But yeah, as you can see in that photo, I've put a funny caption that the dub was so gargantuan that I shaved all my hair off. So this was a trend that we all went through in lockdown, and this is when my journey all started. So you need to have a why. That is so important. If you don't have a why, then you won't make any progress. Everything you do has to have a why, and being intentional is always something that I like to say to people. And you have to start small. A lot of people, when they start their journey, whether it be self-improvement or any kind of thing in life, they want to do it all at once. Going to the gym is a good example. They want to go lift the heavy weights. They don't want to start small and get their form right. It's kind of like with self-improvement, getting your mental health right. That's the most important thing. And then you can start the reps, I guess you could say, in gym terms, by focusing on the better habits, which I'll get onto in stage 2. So whatever it may be, you have to start small. And like I say again, it's not a sexy answer. I know you want to be successful and want to see results quickly, but it's not the case. And if you're looking for a quick fix, then you can go watch someone else who will tell you some bullshit about how their life changed in a few weeks, but they won't be relatable to you, and it's just not realistic. And I don't think any of that advice is good. You can make a lot of progress in a short time, but it's all relative to kind of where you are. And I hope me being kind of relatable, of being kind of at the depths of just bad in all the areas of self-improvement, I guess, makes me very relatable. I want you to cut out all of the bad habits from your life. This is different for everyone. So for you, it might be drinking, it might be drugs, it might be video games, it might be jacking off. What else? It might be watching Netflix. Anything that doesn't add any value to your life, doesn't get you closer to where you want to become, and doesn't make you the person you want to become, needs to be removed immediately. And this kind of coincides with removing your so-called friends, which I've made many videos of, about saying your friends who you have today might not actually be your friends. This is often the case because a lot of the time when you start your journey, you probably have the friends you have now, chances are you've been friends with them for a long time. You might have been friends with them since school, and they're nice people. I'm sure they are. A lot of people have very good intentions and they are nice people. However, they may be content with where they are in life. They may be happy with their job that they're doing. They may be happy with how they live their life, drinking, partying, doing that every once a week. But you're not, and that is a big difference. I've never said it's a bad thing to anyone to live like a 9 to 5. Obviously I don't recommend it myself, but if that's what makes you happy, then fine, and that's good, because a lot of people do stuff that may look from the outside a lot more fulfilling. However, it's not inside, and that's the most important thing. But your friends, you are a product of your 5 closest surroundings, and if your friends are not getting you to where you want to be, they need to go. And I really recommend you going through a period of monk mode when you first start your journey, and just going solo. And I know a lot of people just won't do this. They'll think, no, I don't want to be on my own, and it's lonely. And I know what it's like, because I've been there. I don't have many friends myself, but I've got to a stage where I'm quite happy with this, because I'll tell you why. Because I would prefer to be on my own than be with people who are not going to get me to where I want to be in life. And I'd prefer to just have 2 or 3 friends who have the same mission, have the same mindset, and are going to go to the same places. Even if I had 1 or none, you can find these people online as well. Obviously, I always recommend going outside and meeting new people, and I always think naturally that's way better. But unfortunately, a lot of people are very complacent, and they probably don't have the same mindset as you, and it's quite hard to find those people. It's something I've really struggled with, and I'm sure you can relate to this. So you have to cut out those people who are not going to get you to where you want to be. And it's hard, and it will probably take you time, but it's only going to end it's going to end worse if you just don't do this sooner rather than later. You're going to end up resenting them, and it could just end up quite nasty. So I would definitely recommend you just sorting this out. And obviously I would always recommend trying to bring them up with you. However, it just doesn't happen, unfortunately. I really hope it's different for you, and it might be. But for me, I haven't really brought up any of my friends that don't want to change with me. It's only been the ones that have kind of wanted to change anyway, and always been productive, always had like quite a good mindset, and been open-minded, all of that type of stuff. Those people that are quite content with where they are, like they won't come up with you, unfortunately. So I wish you the best in bringing your friends up, and if you can, amazing, get them onto self-improvement. But if not, then you'll have to take a step back from them, unfortunately. The next thing we need to do is change your environment. And by this, I don't mean that you have to move to the other side of the world or anything like this. It might be you need to move to a different country, or maybe you just move city, move out of your parents' house, just change your desk, change your layout, change the way you do stuff, start going to going to like a coffee shop to do your work. Just something, it might be something small, but chances are your current environment is not working for you, therefore you need to make a change. And stuff like this can be massive. For me, when I went away last week, I'm sure if some of you who watch my videos regularly saw I went away, and my environment there was not the best, although I had a nice time and the weather was a lot better and stuff like that. However, I was not getting as much work done, and now I'm back home. I'm in an environment where I kind of even though I moan about the UK a lot, because there's not that much else to do, I don't really have much choice other than to do work. I do really enjoy doing my work, and I wouldn't really want it to be any other way, but I'm in an environment currently where I can do work and get stuff done and feel focused. And if you don't have that, then definitely recommend changing something up. It might be something small for you. It might just be reorganizing your desk, or going to like an office for a couple of hours. Whatever works for you, just take some time to kind of realize what works and what doesn't. The next thing, which is so underestimated, is spending time alone. And I think I've mentioned before on a few videos about finding your purpose, and the best way to do that is to spend time alone. A lot of people, like I say again, with the friends one, won't want to do this because it's not very fun. it's not stimulating and it's not attractive to spend time alone on paper. Once again, I've got to a stage where I do enjoy it, and maybe if you're quite introverted like me, you do enjoy spending time alone, which is great. But if you want to make that change, you have to spend that time alone to kind of realize, have that self-reflection. I think one of the things that I've been really good at is having that self-reflection, self-awareness and introspective moments, because I've spent so much time on my own, and people that haven't had that time alone will not be able to relate. And I really think on your journey and to be happy with who you are, you have to spend that time alone. And I don't really meet people who don't like spending time alone. I can kind of tell that they're not really that happy in themselves, whether they admit it or not. And you might think this too, but I really recommend you spend some time alone. It doesn't have to be forever, and I definitely don't think that's the way to go. Because as human beings, we want to spend time together. We're social creatures, and that's not good for your mental health anyway, and something I've preached about heavily. So don't spend a lot of time alone, but it might be a few days, a week, a month. Maybe just go somewhere in nature for a few days and not really do anything. Just be alone with your thoughts, and it will honestly change your life. If you just did that for 3 days, I can guarantee your mindset would change. I know no one's really going to do this because it doesn't sound attractive, and it doesn't sound fun, and I do get it, but it will change you. So on to the next one on the reset, and that's going to be sleep, diet and exercise. I think these correlate very well to your mental health, and people completely underestimate the importance of these three, especially sleep, because a lot of people think, I sleep for like 7-8, I'm in bed for 7-8 hours, so I get a good amount of sleep. Well, it's not actually true, because sleep efficiency is around 80-85%. So when you're actually in bed for 8 hours, you're probably getting like 7 hours 15, something like that, I don't know, which isn't actually enough. And a lot of people, another part of it is they don't sleep at the same times every day, which is very important for your mood and mental health and focus. Because maybe if you do like a normal 9-to-5 job, something you might do, and then on a weekend you go out on a Friday and Saturday, your body doesn't know it's a weekend, does it? Weekends are man-made inventions, and our body knows no difference. A day is a day. It doesn't know it's a weekend. And you might be going out and then you're not going to sleep till 3 in the morning. It's quite an extreme example, but let's just say it for hypothetical reasons. And then you're getting up at, say, 10, 11. Your body is completely out of sync, and that's just... the next day you're just not going to be able to get anywhere near as done, and this is really damaging. And yeah, I'm not going to go too much into detail, because if you really want to know stuff, I recommend watching Dr. Andrew Huberman, who's taught me a lot about sleep and all of these type of areas, the science behind things. And diet too is so crucial. Cleaning up your gut microbiome, I think that's what it's called, that's massive to how you kind of feel. And I think that's why a lot of people probably feel like they have bad mental health, is because their diet is not good enough. Clean up your diet. Like I say, with the start small with your diet. You're not going to be able to change it completely if you're eating like McDonald's fast food every single day. You're not going to be able to be that guy who eats chicken and rice every day, and nor would I really recommend that, because you don't need to eat clean, 100% clean every single day. And it really, I don't want to be that guy, but it does depend on your genetics somewhat, because I'm a guy who doesn't have to eat that clean, and I'll still naturally look quite good if I just work out, because I have a really fast metabolism. But if you're someone different who has quite slow metabolism and puts on weight easily, then you really have to eat very clean. But just like the kind of rule I have is like meat, potatoes and vegetables for most of my meals. For breakfast I have eggs, and for like dinner I'd always have like meat, potatoes and veg, and something you can stick to. Just kind of think meat and potatoes when you go out for food. Just nothing like kind of the modern day shit that they kind of put you see advertised in the shop and they say like, oh, if you can't read what's in the ingredients, then you shouldn't have it, which is, yeah, bear that in mind, definitely, because a lot of the stuff that they see in the supermarkets are not good, and you can just kind of taste that in the products, especially like artificial sweeteners and all of this. Anyway, next thing, exercise. Again, daily exercise is something you can do, anyone can do, and should be doing every single day. It doesn't have to be going to the gym. It doesn't have to be a sport. Even if it's just a walk, that is honestly 100 times better than probably like 80% of people. Obviously, I recommend doing like a moderate to a high intensity activity every single day. But like I say, if that's not you and it's not something you're interested, just getting that exercise every day, getting that sunlight into your eyes, and just having that kind of space and time alone to think and clear your mind can be crucial. And obviously for your physical health, more importantly, it's going to boost that significantly. But yeah, they're three crucial things, and I definitely recommend, like I say, looking at Andrew Huberman, who will talk you a lot through the science if you're interested in that. But anyway, I feel like I've been talking about that too long now, and you're probably a bit bored of me talking about it. This stage will probably last between 3 to 6 months, I believe. Like I say, it depends where you are now. You can skip through this, obviously, if you've already passed this stage in your life, and you might be already on the stage, so it might not take you as long now. But for someone who's starting completely, which is what this guide is kind of made for, I would say it start probably 3 to 6 months. I was probably on it for about 6 months, because I didn't really have this advice and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was doing it subconsciously. But yeah, I reckon with the kind of steps in place, you've got the framework that I'm giving you. If you do these things, then I reckon you can probably do it in a couple months. So that's a reset and stage 1 of your journey. So this is me at stage 2, I believe. This is when I first started going to the gym, working out, fitness. And yeah, this is when I started to feel better somewhat. The first thing that I want you to do, and to be honest, I probably didn't have this when I was at this stage, but it's have a purpose and calling. I really, really highly recommend that you read the book The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida, which tells you a lot about purpose and masculine and feminine energy. Definitely read that. But having that, something that you feel is your calling, something that's more, it means more to you than just like a job, something that pays the bills, which is something that I've never thought is worth it at all. What is your kind of calling? For me, it was launching this channel and doing self-improvement and helping other people with their experiences through my knowledge and lessons that I've had in my life. That is my main purpose. That is something that every day I work towards my goals, and I feel passionate about pursuing and helping people every single day. And this correlated significantly to boosting my health, my mental health, and just having that working towards your goals every single day honestly will change how you feel if you find that purpose. So relating back to that kind of stage 1 of spending time alone, you might need to just do that for a couple days, a few weeks. I think David Dida does say this, just like go away on your own, just stare at a wall and wait until you find that. You'll know when you find it. You'll just feel it inside of you, and just do it for however long it takes, because it's definitely worth it. Because a lot of people don't have purpose, and that kind of makes them very unhappy if you don't have that purpose, because I definitely believe everyone does have one. They just need to find it. So I really hope you can find yours, because like you really can't underestimate the importance of this. I think I've mentioned about the bad habits in stage 1, but make sure you've removed all of these bad habits by this stage and replacing them with good habits, such as hitting the gym, meditation, reading, going for a walk every day, going to sleep at the same sort of time, just the basic stuff that you might already be on this stage already. I hope you kind of are. But if you can do them consistently daily, that is crucial to your success, I feel. Create a plan. is the next thing I want you to do in stage 2. Sit down, and you've now hopefully got your purpose, your mission, where you want to get to in life. Now I want you to create a plan on how you're going to get there. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter if you think it's unrealistic. You might find it cringe to even like write up a plan and talk about some of the stuff that you're really passionate about, because I did at the start too. But this is so important, because I can't remember the quote, but like, without a plan, like it's just kind of like in your mind, and without something set in paper, I really like recommend writing it down on a piece of paper. You can obviously do this on your laptop or on your phone or something, but writing it down, pen and paper, and just sticking it on your wall. I do that a lot with like affirmations and stuff, and some people think that's really weird and gay, but whatever. I do it, and I think it helps, so whatever. But yeah, I really recommend creating a plan, like a timeline on how you're going to get there. It doesn't have to be 100% specific, but kind of just the steps that you need to take in order to get there. And it might take you time to build up this plan, and you'll probably want to edit it over time, because with my plan it's changed quite a lot since the start of the year, and the goals that I set out at the start of 2023 have changed quite a bit, and you'll find this, but you can just modify it over time. But it's a lot better to have that plan, and even if you change it all the time, than to have no plan, because I really think it's very difficult to get somewhere without having a road to follow. Just see it as like in the Wizard of Oz, just follow the yellow brick road. Have something like that where you can just have it in place, and that's the road that takes you to exactly where you want to be in life. The next thing I want you to do, and this is easier said than done, and there's no guarantee you'll be able to even find it, is find some like-minded individuals. And this took me quite a long time, and this is probably stage 2/3 for me. But if you can, maybe you've been on monk mode now for a while, you've cut off your friends that aren't going to the same places as you, and you've been spending time alone, and you've developed yourself, and you have something to offer them. So you should be able to find these people, or at least better people than you had previously. But how do you go about finding these people? That is a difficult one, and like I say, you might not be able to find them in person, so if not, you can find them online, internet, in groups, or just people you kind of listen to, you can kind of relate to. And some of the people I listen to honestly feel like friends to me. But I think the best advice I can give you is to go to those places where the person that you want to become goes to, because that's where they should be. Maybe the gym, for example, or like a martial arts, MMA group, or a spiritual group, or something like that, or going on in a group that climbs mountains. I don't know, something like that. Just join like a group or something. You'll probably find some people, or travel to places that really interest you. Maybe they're quite cultural, or they're in nature a lot. You'll probably find people there too. It will take time, and I'm still trying to find more people. So drop me a message on Instagram if you feel you can relate to me a lot. I'm sure we could become friends. But like I say, it will probably take time. But don't rush. And like I say, you are honestly better off being on your own than being friends with people who aren't like-minded and don't want to get to the same places as you, and might envy you for kind of having a different kind of drive and ambition to what they have and wanting a bit more. And like I say, the most important thing from stage 2 is you begin to find out who you really are, your true desires, and you take a back step from the real world, which the real world is, not what they think, but what like the normal people think. And you'll stop doing normal people stuff. You'll stop watching TV, you'll stop playing video games, you'll stop partying, you'll stop eating shitty processed food, you'll stop listening. You'll realise what they tell you on TV is just a load of lies. But anyway, enough of a rant about that type of rubbish, because that's not what I'm here to tell you about. I'm here to help you reset your life. And stage 3, this was me about just less than a year ago now. So when I was in South Africa, so about 10-11 months ago now. In stage 3, I'm going to get you to become the person that you want to become. So you have to really narrow down and take some time to think, who do you want to become? You can create your avatar. You can be anyone who you want to be in life. You just have to decide who that is. And you might look at some other people, some other influencers, and kind of take bits from them. That's kind of what I've done. I've looked at kind of people who I really like and took like different bits from each of them and then become that person. Or yeah, like you might just be happy with who you are naturally anyway, and you don't want to change, and that's completely fine. But for me, I did want to become a different person than who I was, because I was not confident, and I don't think I was the best person either. And I wanted to be more influential, so I needed to change who I was. And you need to be aligned those things that person would do to become that person. That is the only way and best way, 100%, to becoming that person, is to do those things that person would do. If it is something like, maybe, which a lot of people struggle with, is talking to the girls, especially that they don't know, that person you want to become, would they go talk to those girls? Because if they would, then you need to do that if you want to become that person. If you want to become an entrepreneur, then they would be working on their business every day. You need to do that. If that person wanted to be an athlete, they'd be training in their sport every single day. Well, you need to do that every single day to become that person. Do you see what I mean, guys? It's probably becoming a bit clearer to you now. But that's something that a lot of people don't do. They say you probably know in your head, but I definitely, once again, would recommend writing this down of who you want to become. But if you don't, take some time to really think about it. But they don't take those actions that get them to where they want to be. And that's the biggest kind of stage that lets people down. Take daily action on your vision and plan. This is something that I've been doing probably for the last 3, 4, 5 months. Ever since I started YouTube anyway, I've been taking daily action, doing videos every day, or doing some work towards it and working on my goals. And it shouldn't be that hard. Like, I'm not saying you have to record a video every day if you want to become a YouTuber, or you have to make money every single day if you're starting a business or whatever. It can be something small, but just take action every single day, whether it be small or large, because I think that is crucial, and it has that snowball effect. And if you're doing it every day, things will start to compound, and you'll look back one day and everything will be like, oh shit, things have clicked, and you'll be that labeled as that overnight success. But you know deep down, like, that's not the case. So hopefully at this stage you'll be going to the gym. Maybe you're not a massive gym goer yourself, but hopefully you'll be healthy anyway, like daily exercise, you're eating clean, you're meditating, reading, you're doing all this good shit. You've changed your life around it already at this stage. You weren't doing this 6 months ago. People look at you and they think you're a different guy. You've changed. Like, you didn't. Why are you not coming to the pub, mate? Come on, let's go for some pint. You're like, no, I don't do that shit anymore. Do you want to do some lines do you want to do some coke? No, you don't do that shit anymore. And you will start to pull away from those normal people around you, and you will feel unrelatable to their lives. They'll be talking about going to the pubs and going clubbing and going on a lad's holiday to Magaluf or something like that, and you'll be like, fuck that shit, that's not fun, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that. That's what I really felt. And you will begin to kind of resent these people, and you might start to feel above them at this stage in your journey. I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing, although it does kind of sound like that, but it just means that you've made a lot of progress, really. And you have every right to kind of feel like that, I think. If you've worked on yourself, you should look at them and be like, yeah, we're not the same. I've put the work in to get to where I want to be, and I'm happy, and I'm working towards something fulfilling and important to me, and I'm not going to waste that doing shit that's just pointless and not going to get me to where I want to be. But hopefully you won't be spending too much time with people like that, although there probably always will be, as something I've kind of learned is the case, especially with your family and stuff. They probably won't be able to relate to you so much, but it gets easier over time, guys, and you'll probably naturally kind of pick up on that because you just do and you kind of just adapt. But anyway, that's what you need to do at stage 3 to become the person you want to become. It is all about that vision, plan, just consistency. I think this is the main message at stage 3. Every single day, just doing the good stuff and not doing any of the shit stuff, basically, is what I want you to do at stage 3 to become that person you want to become. So, stage 4, this is where I'm at. And I made a video about building the empire in your 20s, and it's a really good one, so check that out. I've been speaking for ages. I'm not used to speaking for this long, but let's keep going. So yeah, this is probably the longest part. It's definitely the longest stage of the journey. However, it is by far the most exciting stage of the process, the journey. That's what it is. And this is, I don't know what age you are, and it doesn't necessarily have to be 20 to 30. You might be a bit older, or if you're younger, then that's even better. You've got an advantage on me and a lot of people. But say if you're around, I'm 22, just turned 22, maybe you're 20, or just say you're 20 for hypothetical reasons. You can focus these next 10 years on building that empire, fully focusing on dedicating 100% of your time to building. And that's what it should be. Cut out the bad habits, cut out the drinking, the degenerate lifestyle, the partying, chasing women, materialistic stuff. Just focus on building. And I know I'm not even there yet at all. Like I say, I'm very early in my journey still. But you can become that outlier male or even female if you do this. But it's quite difficult for me to say from a female's perspective because I'm a man, obviously. And men and women are on different timelines. But let's say, I think it could work, say for a woman too. You can be that 30-year-old guy and you have the body. You've been going to the gym every single day. Maybe not every day. You've been going to the gym 3-5 times a week for the last 10 years. Your body's going to be very, very impressive. You will have a top 1% body for your age, probably less than that, top 0.1 probably. Maybe you've worked on a business, or it doesn't have to be a business, career, self-employment, whatever it may be. You've been doing that, focusing on that 10 years. You're going to have a good amount of money, realistically, if you've been doing that every single day. Naturally, because of these 2 things I've mentioned previously, you're probably going to be very attractive to the opposite sex. You've got yourself a nice wife or a husband, maybe, if you're a female. You're a very sociable guy. You've been working, you've been reading a lot of self-help books, and you've learned how to improve your social skills naturally. You might have been doing content, and that's helped you improve your social skills, so that's great too. Maybe something that I want to do by the time I'm 30 is speak a different language too. And I think, imagine being like, to me, that sounds really exciting. I don't know if you'll feel the same, but having all these boxes ticked by the time I'm 30, and I definitely think that's very achievable if you focus on this every single day, like these little things. Like, it might sound a bit overwhelming to think, oh, I've got to work on my body, I've got to work on business, I've got to work on making money, I've got to work on my social skills. It might sound quite a lot in one day, which maybe it is, but it doesn't have to be like a lot. It could be like just doing this for like 10-15 minutes. Like, you can make money quite easily, especially on the internet. You can go to the gym for half an hour every day. You can just socialize 15. Like, it's not that hard once you kind of narrow it down and take them one by one. But even if you didn't work them on every day, just working on them like every week, then you'll be so far, you cut adrift from the rest of the people around you. And for me, that is so exciting. That's what I want to do, all these things. Another thing I want to do, I'm starting boxing in a couple of weeks, and learning like how to fight is another box that I want to tick. I want to have like a fight by the end of the year, like an amateur kind of fight, and win a fight. I think that'll be massive for me. And maybe there's some other things that you can think of personally that you want to do, but that's kind of what I see as very exciting. And that's all the stuff that I'm going to be working on over the next few years. And I would highly recommend you doing the same. And I definitely think this is the most important stage of your life. You probably hear a lot of people say, "Oh, like this is so important and stuff," but like, if you get if you get this right, you will be very successful. Everyone defines success as different things, but if you get all of this right and you focus on building on 20, by the time you're 30, you will have everything you've ever wanted. Most people fall off at this stage due to distractions. They start to settle down, commitments. Maybe they've got quite a lot of debt from loans, university, cars on finance, mortgages, etc. So a lot of people might get to maybe a bit older than me, maybe like 24 and 25, and they settle down with a partner and they start getting mortgages and cars on finances, and they've got a job because they need to pay the bills, and they've kind of fallen off a bit, and it's a shame because they've not living up to their true potential and actually gone 100% on their dreams, which is a shame. But a lot of people will, and by the time you get to 30, the amount of people who will tick all of the boxes that I've mentioned previously will be less than 0.1% of men or women out there. You'll be like such an advantage, and because I know a lot of people, I know it's hard, and I might like I will be. I'm just gonna say now, I will be 30 and I've ticked all of these boxes. Like I will have that because I want it so bad, and like it's all about how much you want it, and I've got the mindset to do it, and I will go through with it. But honestly, like focus on all of those stuff is so important. And maybe you don't want all of that, but I just think becoming an all-round person who's ticked all of those boxes, which pretty much anything you could ever want in life, is very attractive and quite fulfilling. So yeah, I hope this section really helps you in building your own empire. Obviously, it's different things for different people, but it's the most important and most exciting bit. It's probably the point I'll look back when I'm like 40, 50 years old and be like, shit, like I did all of that, considering where I came from a few years ago, and be like, look back with kind of like a feeling of nostalgia, and be like you've come a long way, Thomas. I would probably like to look at myself, and I can kind of like visualize that now, and just looking back and just being proud of myself. And I want you to feel the same, obviously. So that's why I'm telling you this information, and I'm not trying to sell you anything or anything like that. I want you to have that too and experience life to your fullest capacity. So the final stage, golden years, what I'm referring to as golden years, it's not a stage that I've actually experienced, so maybe you'll disagree with me somewhat, and maybe if people are a bit older, they'll be able to give me a bit more insight as to whether this is actually true. But it might be quite difficult for some people to say because they would have had to follow kind of the previous steps that I've been through, especially stage 4, which is the most difficult and where a lot of people actually end up falling off. So the golden years, the final stage, this is where all your hard work has paid off, and you will look back at your empire with a big smile on your face and that feeling of nostalgia. Like, as I'm reading this, I feel I have a smile on my face, as you see, because I can just picture it. I think for most men, this will probably be after you've built the empire, obviously, so maybe 30 to 45 plus, maybe 50 or something, because like I say, men do peak a lot later than women, and a lot of it takes a lot of time. You building and building and building, and eventually it kind of just all falls into place nicely. You will be in the peak of your life at this stage, and honestly, I do think it will be too easy if you've followed the 5 previous steps which I've mentioned, which is obviously a lot easier said than done. But even me being at the stage where I'm like building, I feel there's not a lot of people that can compete with me. They don't have the mindset, they don't have the drive, they're not at my level, and that's not to be egotistical at all. It's just the reality of the situation, and you will be that top less than 0.1% man. You'll be top 0.001% man probably, and this is like a good time where you can cash your chips in, so to speak, and you get to relax, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Life is easy for you. It will be so easy. You don't really have to do anything. You probably won't have to work again if you don't want to. I mean, I don't think that's very fulfilling at all. People say, oh, I want to retire by I'm 30, but realistically, you don't want to just do nothing, and it gets boring. Even when I go away for a few days and I don't really do anything. When I've been younger, I'm like, this is boring. I don't really want to do this, and you'll probably feel the same. But you can enjoy the fruits of your labour, all that work you've put in, get married, have the kids, buy more property, and do that type of lifestyle. Once you've kind of built everything up, you've got, like I say, you've got the body, you've got the business, you've got the money, you can fight, you can speak a different language, you've met your wife, you've met your husband, whoever it may be, and then you can just go settle down and live happily ever after, I guess, so to speak. But I really feel this will happen, and you can kind of see, as I've got a picture of Mike Thurston here, who's 32 years old, Andrew and Tristan Tate, 34, Tristan and Andrew is 36. Obviously, yes, controversial figures, maybe you don't like them, doesn't matter. But Mike, yes, I think he's in the peak of his powers now, and he recently he's got a podcast. He did one with Chris Williamson the other day, which was a really good listen. Definitely go check that out. And he was saying, like, he's like now in his peak of his powers. This is probably like the best time he's ever going to look, the best he's ever going to feel inside of himself. And you can see, if you kind of go back, if you're interested, you could go back and see what he looked like a few years ago. He didn't look anywhere near as good as he did. But you'll hear like a lot of mainstream advice tell you that the best years are your teens and your early 20s, which I've always thought that was bullshit, because I didn't enjoy my teens at all. And I was like, God, if this is my best years, then what do I have in store for me? And I always thought, I've never really thought that was true. But you can see, like, he's looking absolutely, like, not from a weird point of view or anything like that, but he's looking great. He's got a good business. He's got multiple businesses. He seems a very nice guy. I think he's got a partner now, and he's 32, and he's in his peak of his powers, and he's got definitely a few more years. He can probably get a bit better too, and he'll enjoy this for the next few years now. And he seems to be in a great place. And we've got Andrew and Tristan Tate, who have like I say to people, they've kind of got everything you want. Whether, like I say, you don't have to like them or not, but anything, especially like a man could desire. They've got the money. They've got, maybe they don't live a monogamous with one woman or anything like that, which is fair play. I wouldn't want like loads of women, but they have access to any kind of woman they want, really. Money, women, they've got the body, they can fight, they're very sociable people. They seem like, I truly believe they are nice, genuine people, regardless of what people say and how the media portray them. And like I say, they've both got children, they've got everything. Like, there's not really anything you can say that they don't have, which is desirable. I mean, some people might say differently, but from my perspective, they're good inspirations from what you can achieve as like a young man, maybe a similar age to me, 20s, 22, and look in a few years. But you have to remember that all of this has come from a lot of hard work. All of these guys have worked very hard to get to where they are. It's not just, you see their lifestyle now and you think, oh shit, like my life's going to be like that in a few years. But it's not going to be if you've not put the work in every single day. These guys have been working hard for 15, 20 years to get to where they want to be. And it's not just the stage of one day they woke up and they looked like that and they had all the money, they had all the women, because you've got to get this right. You've got to put the work in and build that empire. So that's been my self-improvement guide, guys. It's how you can reset your life. And I hope it's been really informative, and hopefully I am very relatable to you guys. I like to think I am, because like I say, I'm just like a normal guy on my own journey, and I just want to help you guys with my experiences and knowledge of kind of what I've been through. And yeah, like I really hope that helps you in your journey. Like I say, a lot of people be on different stages of their journey, but it has been life-changing so far for me, and I've got a long way to go. And if you follow the steps, it will be the best thing you've ever done. Waking up every day, I feel good and I feel happy and I feel motivated to work towards my goals, and doing work feels good. I'm doing what I actually enjoy. And yeah, the final thing is, like, living that unscripted life has always been something that I've really wanted to do, having that kind of mystery and someone I can just travel and be where I want in the world, and you're just like that guy who's got everything. And yeah, living an unscripted life has been something. Maybe it's not the same for you, but I think just living that life where you can just kind of be the person you want to be, not follow all the same advice that a lot of people try and portray to you, and you followed your own dreams, and you'll look back at this, hopefully you can come back to this in a year, 2 years, and be like, oh, I'm really happy I listened to this because you've changed my life. And honestly, I'd love for that to happen, even if that's just one person comes back and says that. That'll mean more than anything really to me, because I needed this at the start. And like I could say, my mission and purpose is only to relay that information and experiences, knowledge that I've built up back to you guys. So this has been my self-improvement guide on how you can reset your life. And I wish you all the best in your journey, and you hope you can become the absolute best version of yourself. So I really hope this has been informative, guys, and you can take a lot from this. And yeah, I really appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel. I'm really starting to I really want to grow this and spread this message. So if you've got some valuable information, I really appreciate it if you could subscribe and leave a like. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take care.